Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Simplifying Business Studies. Myself Kashish Talwani, your business studies teacher, is here again with this amazing session of chapter 5, Emerging Modes of Business. So this is going to be the fourth lesson of this chapter. So let us understand, let us see what we have for you today. So in this chapter, this is the content what we are supposed to cover. Out of this, we have covered meaning of e-business, scope of e-business, e-business versus e-commerce, opportunities or benefits of e-commerce, limitations of e-business. So in my previous 3 parts, I have covered all these topics. If you're looking for the links, you can have it in the description box below. So in this particular lesson, we will cover these two topics: online transactions and security and safety of e-business. In my forthcoming videos, I will cover these two left out topics. So let us quickly start our session. What are online transactions? So any transaction which is done using the online means, using internet, using web, are all called online transactions. So why this kind of online transaction takes place, let us just briefly understand about it. So this online world opens up the whole world as one single shop. With just few clicks on your computer, you can order any commodity from any part of the world. The World Wide Web has expanded the international marketplace, which gives customer unlimited choices. We have immense choices. If we want to go ahead and buy something, we have not only choices from our own region, from our own state, or from our own country, but we have choices across the globe. If today I'm willing to buy something, I can shop anything uh, from the nearest seller I have, or to some seller which is like millions of kilometers away from me. So due to these online transactions, e-commerce has created a very large space in which buyers and sellers can exchange any kind of information and enter into any kind of business dealings. So this has made our world definitely a very smaller place to deal with. Let us now understand what this online transactions includes. The very first thing is registration. Before online shopping, one has to register himself or herself with the online vendor by filling up certain basic details in the registration forms. These details can be your name, your email address, your phone number, and later on if you order something, your address also. So in this form, you need to give a password to protect your account. Otherwise, anyone can log into your account. So these are just the basic registration details. Next is placing an order. So in online transaction, the order can be placed by picking up an object we like and dropping it into the shopping cart. Shopping cart is an online record of what you have picked up while browsing the online website. After being sure of whether you want to buy that product or not, you can check out from the shopping cart and choose your payment option. So this is how one can place an order. Now payment mechanism comes into place. So what is payment mechanism? So this is a very important feature of online businesses, where a person who is selling goods need to give its customers a payment mechanism, a platform where he can conveniently pay for whatever he is purchasing. So for the convenience, there are different options. COD can be provided, or payment through debit cards or credit cards can be made. So this is one platform through which a seller gives a convenience to its buyers, where they can pay for the order conveniently. So let us see what is included into it. First one is COD. That means cash on delivery. It means buyer can make payment in cash when the goods are delivered to him. That means on his own doorstep he can pay for the goods he has bought. Through check. So online seller may also send his representative to pick up a check from the buyer. So this is also a facility which can be provided in the region you are living in. This cannot be provided to a region so far, but yes, that can be provided to the nearby buyers. Net banking. So modern banks provide this kind of facility of electronic fund transfer over internet. The buyers can transfer their funds from their account to the seller accounts for the purchase so made. Credit or debit card. So these cards are commonly used medium for online payments. 95% of the online payments are made through credit cards or debit cards. So this is such a convenient way which is developed. Definitely it has played a very important role in taking online businesses so far. Last one is digital cash. So this is a cash which only exists in the cyberspace. The use of this cash, for the use of this cash, one has to deposit some amount from your bank account to that digital account, from where it will be deducted if you make payment from that kind of portal. For example, we have many portals. We have Google Pay, we have Paytm, we have Ecommerce. So all these platforms are actually digital cash platforms, from where first deposit is made from the bank account, and then afterwards when you shop using that digital cash, that amount is deducted. Next topic we have in this session is security and safety of e-business. So under this topic we will understand what are the kinds of problem, what are the what are different kind of risk involved in online businesses. So the very first kind of risk is transactional risk. This is such a common kind of risk. And the second is data storage risk. So this is one kind of risk which harms our data. We will understand all these things when we will understand its types. So very first, transactional risk we will understand. Under this category, we have default on taking orders, default on order taking and giving. So seller, in this case, why this kind of things happen? Seller may deny that the customer has ever placed an order. So there can be default on ordering. You have placed an order, but it is not accepted by the seller. So there can be this kind of problem. Default on delivery. Sometimes goods may be delivered at the wrong address, or goods other than order may have delivered. So these are just very common problems which can arise during online businesses. Order has been dispatched by the seller, but the buyer hasn't received the order. It has been lost in transit. Or uh, goods has been dispatched by the seller, but some other parcel has been received by the buyer. So this can be a default on delivery. Now default on payment. Sometimes a seller does not get the payment for the goods supplied, whereas customer claims that the payment has been made. This happens generally because of the default on bank's part, through which we are making a payment, or through the different sources we are using to pay, like net banking, debit or credit cards, or digital money. So this can happen that payment has been deducted from your account, but it hasn't reached the seller's account. So this can be called default on payment. Now we will understand the different kinds of data storage risk. So what is data storage risk? Very first, vital information is already available when we make such certain transactions, when we buy or when we sell goods over these online means. So this vital information can be stolen, or it can be modified by certain people for some selfish motive, or maybe for fun. So this kind of risk is called data storage risk. What is the very first under this category? the very first risk under this category is virus. This is such a common word, but do you know what is the meaning? What is the full form of this word? It has a meaning. That means vital information under siege. It is vital information under siege. So it's a full form of this word, virus. So some of the computers viruses are deadly. So there are many viruses which can harm our data, but many of them are very moderate. They generally don't harm us when we have certain kind of security on our phone or on our laptops. But there are certain viruses which are actually very deadly. They clean up all the information stored in your computer's memory. The virus can also enter the computer through email, through the disk or the floppies or the CDs you use to transfer the data at times. Viruses may hamper the functioning, the working of your business. These viruses bring a lot of problems that can definitely let your data flow from one place to another, and that can be misused, and that can bring you heavy losses in your revenues. So this can be deadly at times. What is another data storage risk? It is hacking. So we are actually so aware of this word hacking. What does it mean? Hacking refers to unauthorized entry into a website. So the person who is not actually authorized to see certain information sees that information using this thing. So hackers often destroy the data after copying them or after utilizing them for their own benefit, and that can definitely cause huge loss to the owners because it would interrupt his business transactions. So that can bring the person who owns that data a huge loss in business, or any kind of revenue losses, or any kind of losses as per the data is concerned. So yes, these are all kind of risk involved in online or e-businesses. Let us now understand what are the measures to overcome the security problems. First, we will understand the measures to overcome transactional risk. What are those measures? The first one is credit card authentication. So this process ensures that the credit card provided by the customer is a valid one. So if the person is not providing a valid credit card number, and he's promising to pay a certain amount, the seller will never be able to judge the authenticity. So this kind of authentication helps the seller to get the authentic information from their buyers. Credit card authorization. So this system checks whether the funds are available in the credit card account of the customer or not. So when you put your credit card, it has to be authorized by your bank. That means your bank authorizes that you have enough balance in your credit card to pay for a certain transaction. So this secures the seller part when these kind of things are done. Settlement. Once the product is dispatched or delivered, the bank will release the funds and transfer them to the businessman's bank account. So this is how the buyer's interest can be secured. Once the person has received the goods at his home, then only the payment which the buyer has already made will be released to the seller. So the first two things are to protect the seller's interest, and the third one is to protect the buyer's interest. Now let's understand what are the measures to deal with problems like virus and hacking. First one is setting up a special crime cell. So government has already been doing lot of work to secure people who are affected by these data storage risks. Our government has set up a special crime cell to look into the crimes committed by different hackers, and they are actually taking necessary actions against these criminals. Encryption. What is encryption? It refers to converting the message into a code so that unauthorized person may not understand it. So this is one way of securing your data once it is, in process of transfer from one place to another. So encryption secures the data. How does it do? It converts the data into certain codes which cannot be read by the third party. Digital signature. Under this method, a coded digital certificate is issued by a certification authority. This will help in checking the identity of the seller. So if this kind of certificates are owned by your seller, then only one can decide whether he want to go for that business transaction or not. So children, this is the content we need to include it in this session. If you have any doubts related to the topics we have covered, you can get in touch with me through this email address which is there on your screen, or you can also drop your comments in the comment box below. I hope this lesson has been productive, has been useful to all of you. Hope you all have a good day ahead. Thank you very much.